Welcome to A Double
and
Dice
with your host Kim.
and Jocelyn.
Pour your favorite beverage,
Pull up a comfy chair.
because we are ready to roll.
Welcome to episode 55 of A Double and Dice. And today we're going to do a female character in Dice Masters. And the character is a lead up to something that's happening hopefully next week.
That's
It's
right.
next week, right? Yeah.
This week
From
when
what we record, yeah.
this week when the episode comes out.
Yes, exactly. When the episode drops the Monday, March the 7th,
Yes.
something is happening on the 9th.
Yes. What is happening on the 9th, Kim?
We have a new set dropping, we hope, with fingers crossed. The
Yep,
Dark Phoenix Saga.
So we're really
So-
excited.
Yeah, well, yes. Okay,
Okay.
I guess I'm excited, sure. But not excited as Jocelyn.
Yeah, I know. It's not Kryptonite Crisis, Kim. But
I
don't
know.
worry. In 8 weeks, when Kryptonite Crisis comes out, you can be very excited and I can
Yeah.
be moderately excited. So we'll switch places, okay?
Okay, all right, sounds good. So to lead up to that, we decided to do a character from that set, a character that is in the set's name.
The title character.
Yep. I'm hoping she's the main in this set. But we're going to talk about the Dark Phoenix today.
That's right. So this is a really interesting character for us to talk about. And for all of you X-Men fans out there, Dark Phoenix is also known as Jean Grey. And I'm going to tell you right now, we are just doing Dark Phoenix today. We're not doing Jean Grey. We're not doing Phoenix. We're not doing Phoenix Force. We're not doing Phoenix Magneto. We're not doing Phoenix Storm. We're focusing just on Dark Phoenix. So, with that said, should we jump into the Dark Phoenix history, Kim?
Yes, let's. I have my. I'm ready to learn.
You're ready to
Cap
learn.
on.
All right. Well, I'm ready to help you
Teach.
learn. Yeah, I don't know if it's really teaching. So, I will preface this by saying about 2 years ago, when we knew the set was coming, I actually read both the Phoenix Saga and the Dark Phoenix Saga comic books from I got them on the Marvel Unlimited app. It has been quite a while. I found that the comic storyline, which was written like in the 70s, the stories are very different and the art is very different than comics are today. And I did have a bit of trouble reading it. It was challenging for me reading that particular saga. However, it was only because of the way it was portrayed, the way the comics were written, and the way the dialogue was done. The story itself was really iconic, and I understand why it's so revered in the comics world, especially as I did more research in preparation for this episode, and I learned a little bit more about it. So there's a really great article that Vanity Fair did about the Dark Phoenix Saga, and we'll link that in our show notes. And I would strongly recommend that you read it because it has some really great insights into the saga itself. So this story was originally created by Chris Claremont as the writer and John Bryan as the artist. And this was basically the first time that a female character was the focal point of a story in comic books that not only was groundbreaking and new, but it examined the larger meaning of basically existence, of mankind, and stretches the limit of what we can and can't do, reviewing the universe. And they used a female character to do that for the first time basically ever in comic books. So it is iconic in that way. It's not really a happy story, Kim.
Uh-oh.
But with that said, it is an important story.
So before you go any further, I have a question, teacher.
Yes.
Yes, so
student.
the movie that that was made what's it called? The Dark Phoenix?
Yeah, I think so.
Is that based? Because you said two different things there. You said the Dark Phoenix Saga, and you said Dark Phoenix, right?
Yeah, I saw the Dark Phoenix Saga movie and I don't really remember it, and I don't know how much it had to do with the actual story of the comics.
Okay, so that one was based on the Dark Phoenix Saga, I assume. I'm so sure someone will tell us if we don't know.
So the Dark Phoenix Saga is the classic comic book story.
Okay.
Okay. It wasn't called that at the time. And what we actually learn is Jean Grey is actually only the Dark Phoenix in the comic books for 2 episodes, 2 issues.
Okay.
There's a lot of stuff leading up to it, which has to do with the Phoenix Force, which I'm going to touch on, but it's really about the story that happened in those 2 issues where she became the Dark Phoenix, and the Phoenix Force basically consumed her, and she kind of became a bad guy, sort of. It overtook her. She couldn't control it. So,
Yeah.
So
I think the movie sounds more like that, but yeah, it has been a
Yeah.
while since I've seen it.
Yeah, I remember that the movie wasn't super great.
Yeah.
So let's just pretend the movie didn't happen. Okay. So Jean Grey, as a X-Man, we know has certain powers, and some of that has to do with her mind. She's got telepathic powers and things like that. We won't get into the specifics of Jean Grey, but the Phoenix Force is this medieval force that has gone throughout the universe and has occupied people throughout time. And the Phoenix Force linked to Jean Grey when she was younger. And then years later, when she was on a space shuttle, so what was happening was she and the X-Men were coming back from somewhere. They had been somewhere and they were on the space shuttle. They were on their way back to Earth. Jean Grey and her friends were dying on the space shuttle, and her mind called out for help, and the Phoenix Force answered, and it saved her. So they thought Jean was dead, right? The X-Men thought Jean was dead, and it turns out she was actually alive. There was lethal radiation, and everyone was in really like dangerous risk from the radiation's effects. And Jean Grey was the one that piloted the shuttle and got her through and saved her. Okay. So surprisingly, after all of this, like all of the X-Men that were with her, they survived, and they found out that Jean survived, but they didn't really understand why. So the space shuttle crashed in Jamaica Bay. Okay. And they took Jean to Professor X, and they, took her to Muir Island and started, checking her out with Moira, and they were doing all kinds of looking into what was going on with her and trying to discover what was going on. They found out that she had some kind of force in her mind that protected her. Okay, which turned out to be the Phoenix Force. And she had a lot of power, and she was doing some great stuff, right? She was helping out, and she was more powerful than she'd ever been, and she sort of became almost drunk with her power. At this time, this is when Mastermind comes into the story, and he's got like a mind control type power as well. And he started to try and take over her mind, and she didn't really realize what was happening. And during this, Mastermind was actually able to take over Jean's mind, and she became the Black Queen of the Hellfire Club. Ooh. So she sort of went over because she was under the control of Mastermind, aka Jason Wingard. He controlled her psyche, and he took the hold over her. Okay. So from there, Jean has always had this connection with Cyclops, and they were treated as each other's one true loves in the comic stories. And Cyclops came to try and save Jean because they knew that this was wrong, and she was reaching out to his mind telepathically. Cyclops and Mastermind were in a psychic duel, and in the story, Jean is in her mind. She thinks she's in the past. She's dressed in like 1800s type fashion, as is Mastermind, and as are all of the people. Like, she has this whole vision of what's happening that he's projecting on her that's different than what is actually happening. Okay. So he makes her believe that she was his 18th century lover, but there's part of her that still knows that this is wrong. And somehow she and Cyclops' mind that have this telepathic link get together. Cyclops comes and face Mastermind in a psychic duel, and he's defeated. But somehow Jean understands, or Phoenix understands, that that's Cyclops and that's real if he's dead, and it sort of breaks her. And at this point, this is kind of when Phoenix takes over Jean and becomes dark, because she's broken by this news that the Cyclops is dead. You with me?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So she sort of becomes evil. The Dark Phoenix is power and destruction. So what happens is the human emotions of Jean clouded the Phoenix Force's judgment, and it made her even stronger, but it became more evil. So it was uncontrollable, and it flew back into space with Jean in her Firebird form, and was seen across the universe, and, realized, hey, I'm hungry. Because, after you've had a breakdown and you've seen the person that you think is your one true love die, even if it's not for real, you're hungry, right? You've broken Jason Wingard, and you've broken away, and you've flown across the universe. So she ate a whole star system. Yeah, so she ate the sun, and she ate the star of the Debari system, and that nova that was created by that killed billions of innocent people. And then this is where the Shi'ar comes in, which you might remember from many episodes ago when we talked about this, about the pineapple people, the pineapple affiliation on the Dice Masters cards. It looks like a pineapple. It's the Shi'ar.
Yes.
The Shi'ar affiliation.
Yep.
So there's a Shi'ar vessel, and they attack Dark Phoenix. The Empress Lilandra was alerted before the vessel was destroyed by Dark Phoenix, and called a council of her intergalactic counterparts, including the Kree and Skrull empires. So they concluded that for the rest of the universe to live, Dark Phoenix must die. Okay? She doesn't really care. She's just going around there eating people's stars and killing billions of people. So at this point, back on Earth, the X-Men, including our favorite friend Beast, have found a way to neutralize the power of Phoenix temporarily. So when Dark Phoenix returned to Earth, the X-Men were able to hold it at bay, while Professor X built mental blocks in Phoenix's mind that Mastermind had broken down. And then Scott Summers, Cyclops, was able to get a hold of sort of Jean's mind, Phoenix's mind, and they were working on trying to save her. At this point, the Shi'ar arrive, and Lilandra announced that Phoenix would have to die. Professor X at this point is there. He's on the ship. They've teleported him up along with the rest of it.
Okay.
He doesn't want to give up on Jean, because Jean's one of his pupils, right?
Right.
But in case we weren't aware, which you probably weren't, Kim, Professor X is in a romantic relationship with Lilandra. And
wow, this is like some kind of love story too going on here.
Saga, right? Saga.
Right. Yep.
So, things are very complicated. He challenges her to a duel under Shi'ar rules, and Professor X chooses his X-Men as his champions, while Lilandra chooses her Imperial Guard. The duel happens on the blue area of the moon the following day. The Imperial Guard makes short work of the X-Men, leaving Cyclops and Phoenix to make a final stand. A stray bolt hits Cyclops, Jean's control is broken, and Phoenix becomes the Dark Phoenix again. Lilandra ordered the Plan Omega, which would destroy the whole solar system, in the hopes of eliminating Phoenix. But Professor X is able to work with the X-Men and subdue her for a brief time. in that moment, Phoenix says to Cyclops, who's with her, I'm losing control, and there's only one way for Dark Phoenix to take over dominance again. And she's like, I just, I don't have a lot of time. And what she does is she activates an ancient Kree energy weapon and basically commits suicide.
Oh, this was sad.
So she sacrifices herself to save the world
good.
for the greater good. So there's a lot of challenging stuff here, and in the Vanity Fair article they say they don't spare us any detail, right? Any painful detail. She destroys the solar system. And then ultimately she sacrifices herself. So in order to save the rest of the world. So never before in comics, they say, has a hero so completely fallen from grace to become the most sinister force in all of creation, and certainly never had a female character undergone such a radical shift.
She was pretty powerful, wasn't she?
She was all powerful, essentially.
Yeah.
And when she was evil, when the human emotions clouded the Phoenix Force's benevolent power, she just did whatever she needed to do, did whatever she wanted to do, and it was the power was crazy. So they refer to it sometimes in comics as Omega level mutants. It's like the biggest threat, the most powerful. They could basically wipe out existence with a thought type thing. I don't know if that's exactly how you describe it, but that's how I understand it. And she was definitely at that level with the Phoenix Force. So I think, like we said at the beginning, and like I referred to there, this story was iconic and important, not just in comics, in that we have this great, massive, sprawling saga that started with the Phoenix Force, and then later on we find out about the Dark Phoenix, and then Jean sacrifices herself. But that it was a female character that was the lead.
Yeah.
In this story, it wasn't another male superhero, because up until this point, female superheroes were generally quite, I don't know, arm candy. They didn't have a lot to do.
The pretty one in the other side.
Yeah, they were passive. They weren't fighting people with their fists. They were, Sue Storm, the Invisible Woman. They're Wonder Woman who subdues people with her lasso.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
They're not fighting in the same way that as the male characters were. So I mean, it was iconic when they started introducing female superheroes, but they didn't really have a lot to do until such time as we saw this story with the Dark Phoenix and Jean Grey being the centerpiece of that, and going through all the sorts of things that male superheroes had gone through before.
Right.
Well, I don't think there's been any story quite like this, but what I mean.
No, I don't think there's much male characters that went like this far.
Yeah. And ultimate sacrifice at the end.
Yeah.
So I will let you know that later on, because I mean, obviously at the end of this story, Jean Grey is dead. But later on, as comics do, they retconned it.
Oh, okay.
And they said that the Jean that was Dark Phoenix and Phoenix Force wasn't actually Jean. Phoenix Force protected her body and like cocooned it in some kind of magic under the ocean, and it copied her memories and her psyche, and it was basically like a psychic clone that was in her image. So when Jean came back later in the comics, several years later, it was not Jean. Jean didn't have to answer for the billions of deaths and eating the star and the Shi'ar and stuff like that. So comic books.
Righting the wrong.
Yeah. So there you go. So that is Dark Phoenix.
right.
How do you feel about that, Kim?
I mean, I'm sure there's a lot to that story as well. There's a lot more, but
Yeah.
yeah, I knew she was pretty powerful when she became the Dark Phoenix, and I didn't know she was like killed herself. Well, pretty much killed herself to save the
She
world.
killed herself. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, so that is Dark Phoenix. I am sure that I, in some ways, butchered that telling of the story. So, if if you want to correct any of my points, you can let us know in all the usual places that we'll cover at the end of the episode. But I think I've covered the high points and the gist of it. And when we're doing the research online, sometimes it's not always perfect. So, bear with us. But I think we've got the high level story here. So. Let's
Yeah.
turn it over to the cards, Kim.
Yeah. So, Dark Phoenix, there is Phoenix cards out there, but as we said at the beginning, we're not going to be covering those. We're going to be covering the ones that actually are called Dark Phoenix, which actually comes out in the new set, the Dark Phoenix Saga, and there's 3 of them.
That's right.
Wait, okay, so she has a common, an uncommon, and a rare.
Mm-hmm.
No super rare.
Which is kind of weird considering she's the title character in the set.
Yeah.
However, if you remember Green Arrow and the Flash, there was no card called the Flash in that set. So
True.
there was a Barry Allen, there was a Jay Garrick. Both of them have been the Flash, but
not actually.
there was no
the
card
Flash.
called the Flash.
Yeah. Yeah.
So anyway,
I don't
at least
know.
we got a card called Dark Phoenix.
Yes, and her stats are quite good. It's 155-277-388. I mean, good stats, but of course, fielding cost is a little high. It's 1, 2, 3. She's a bolt character, and her common is a 7 cost.
That's
called,
okay.
Yeah, Malevolent. Malevolent.
Yeah.
And it reads, Dark Phoenix costs 1 less to purchase if your opponent has an X-Men character on their team.
All right, so she's a 6 cost.
Yep. When fielded, KO target character die. Could be anywhere, yours or your opponent's. If it's an X-Men character die, deal your opponent 4 damage.
No, deal your opponent 1 damage.
Okay, then that's a mistype.
What are you looking at?
Yeah, deal your opponent 4 damage.
I'm looking at the team builder. Is there a typo in the team builder?
No, that's where I'm looking. It says deal your opponent 4 damage.
Oh, mine says deal 1 damage.
How does yours look different?
I don't know.
Even if you read her card, it says 4 damage.
Well, that would make more sense because for a 7 cost, 1 damage when you KO an X-Men character.
Yours says that. Okay, and she has a global, which is the same global across all her cards, which is a repeat global from back in the day. This was the Blue Eyes
White Dragon Super Rare Global.
Dragon Super Rare Global. Yes. Yep. So it's pay a bolt and KO one of your character dice. The next die you purchase this turn costs 2 less to a minimum of 1. So the return of that global, which wasn't a bad global actually. But I don't think I used it as much.
Yeah.
So all right. So that's the common. Were you gonna say something?
No, I was just trying to get the card to zoom in so that I could look at the 4 damage.
Oh. Or you can go to Burt Roller 6 website. I'm sure.
Yeah, that's where I'm at.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Her uncommon is a 6 cost. Oh, by the way, she's a villain affiliated amongst all her cards.
Yep.
Which makes sense.
Yep.
So this one's a 6 cost. When fielded, KO target. Here's your pineapple.
Mm-hmm. Shiar.
Or X-Men character die. When Dark Phoenix attacks, deal 2 damage to your opponent. And same global on here. That actually reminds me of Orion.
Yeah.
Except when he's fielded, he deals 2 damage, and when he attacks, 2 damage. So similar. Same cost. Oh, no, wait. He's 7 cost.
Yeah.
I wonder if there's going to be, now these are spoilers, obviously. These are my first time reading these, so these are spoilers to myself. Now I'm spoiling them to myself. And I haven't seen any of the other cards out there in the Dark Phoenix set, so I'm assuming maybe there's some pineapple affiliated characters out
There
there.
are definitely Shiar affiliated characters out there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Her last card is a rare. This one is a 5 cost. When an opposing character die damages Dark Phoenix, she deals that much damage to each opponent.
Well, that is really interesting. So, let's say you're attacking, Kim.
Yeah, okay. I'm the active and I'm attacking. All right.
You're active and you're attacking. I'm the defending player. I've got a Dark Phoenix in my field. Let's say you're playing that team. You know, the one with Becky Lynch and Made in Ireland with the double overcrushing Jerry
Yep.
Lawler and the force block Booker T, whatever. I mean, obviously you wouldn't want to force block Dark Phoenix in this case, but let's say you did. Let's say you forgot what her text read. So let's say your Becky's coming at me with a double 8 because she's been doubled with Jerry Lawler's global. So she's a 16 damage. And you're going to deal 16 damage to Dark Phoenix. She's going to deal 16 damage back to your life.
Yes.
You do not want to be playing a Becky Lynch team or an Overcrush team against Dark Phoenix.
Yeah, because when an opposing character die damages her, she deals that much damage to each. So yeah, any like overcrushing damage going to her, yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't
She
have to be
deals it
Overcrush
back.
damage. It's just damage. You've got a 10-10 Godcatcher who attacks, and there's a Dark Phoenix in the field, and she blocks. Then all of a sudden, your opponent's taking 10 life, 10 damage.
That's pretty darn good card for a 5 cost.
Yeah. So it's going to your opponent, not to the character.
Yes, because it says to each opponent. That's right. That's to their life.
Yeah.
Oh, and I forgot to mention her uncommon card was called Enemy of the Shiar.
That's right.
And then the rare is called Destructive Force. That sounds very destructive to me.
It definitely is Destructive Force. I think it's interesting that's the lowest cost of them all. And the cost is a typo. It's a 7.
Oh, it is? Okay, so it's a typo on the Dice Coalition. We should probably... I know they've been making changes, so...
Yeah, so the Dice Coalition just got all these cards uploaded, so there's some typos there. So let's just review, Kim. Let's go back to... So the common is Dark Phoenix Malevolent. It is a 7-cost bolt, confirmed. And it deals, when fielded, KO target character die. If it's an X-Men character die, deal your opponent 4 damage.
Yes.
Dark Phoenix Enemy of the Shiar is a 6-cost. When fielded, KO target Shiar or X-Men character die. When Dark Phoenix attacks, deal 2 damage to your opponent. And then Dark Phoenix Destructive Force is a 7-cost bolt. And that says when an opposing character die damages Dark Phoenix, she deals that much damage to each opponent.
Okay, so it's a 7 cost, not a 5.
That's right. However, if you use her global, right, pay a bolt and KO one of your character dice, the next die you purchase this turn costs 2 less.
Yep, so she becomes a 5.
She becomes a 5, and then, you know, you do it again, and she becomes a 3.
Yeah, so you can do that much times as you can KO a character.
Yeah, you can use that global multiple times. So, I mean, if you have 2 bolts and 3 energy, you can buy Dark Phoenix, right? As long as you can KO 2 character dice.
Yep, and the next die you purchase, so as long as she's the next die you're purchasing.
That's right.
It can't be multiple.
Yeah. So let's say you've got 2 sidekicks in the field, you've got 2 bolts plus 3 energy type. I guess you need 3 bolts because you need 1 to pay for Dark Phoenix.
Yes.
So you'd need 3 bolts and or question marks plus 2 more energy. You pay 2 bolts, you KO your sidekicks, and then all of a sudden your Dark Phoenix is going to be a 3 cost. Not hard to get to.
No, definitely not. But yeah, I like that one.
Yeah,
that'll be an interesting.
I think it's super powerful, and I think this whole idea of dealing damage to the opponent, it's very much anti-attacking or anti-dealing damage to Dark Phoenix. Because anytime it's anytime an opponent, or sorry, anytime an opposing character die damages her.
Yeah.
Right. So it could be from a thrown brick. It could, if the thrown brick does 1 damage to Dark Phoenix, then
No,
you
not
take 1
action
damage.
dice, because it's when
Oh, that's an
opposing
action dice.
character.
That's right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
character die. Yeah,
Character die.
So it
So
has to be pretty much during attacking or blocking.
no, or there's other characters. Think about Jubilee, right? There's a Jubilee that when you field her, she can do 2 damage to target character die or opponent.
Yeah.
Um,
Just don't target Dark Phoenix.
You wouldn't want to. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's like
Jubilee Wondra, when fielded, deal 2 damage to target character die or opponent. Well, then she deals damage to your opponent who fielded the Jubilee.
Yeah.
There's other things that deal damage to your opponent. You don't have a choice. You wouldn't want to play those against Dark Phoenix. Or to a character die, I mean. That they have to deal damage to the character die. I can't think of them right now, but I know there's things. And you wouldn't want to do that.
Yeah, you got to pay attention. Yeah, pay attention if she's out in the field.
Think about Rocket, right? Rocket Raccoon. When fielded, deal damage equal to Rocket Raccoon's A to target opposing character die. If she's the only thing in your opponent's field, when you field that rocket, you're going to deal 2, 3, or 4 damage to Dark Phoenix, and she's going to just deal 2, 3, or 4 damage right back at your life. At that point, you'd almost wonder, like, do I even want to field that die?
Now, is that a must do on the rocket? It's not a may, right?
It's not a may. When fielded, deal damage.
Yeah. So if she's the only one sitting there, then
yeah,
and you don't either want to field it, or you're not gonna.
Yeah, and the thing that's different about Rocket than my previous favorite card from one of the, I think it was the Batman set, the Huntress. It says when fielded, deal damage equal to Huntress's A to target character die. So you could do it to yourself or even to her to KO her. But in Rocket's case, it says opposing character die. So you're required to do an opposing character die if one exists. So at that point, if your opponent's got the rare Dark Phoenix in the field, I wouldn't field my Rocket Raccoon. I would send him to the use pile at the end of my main step.
Yeah. Isn't there a Ghost Rider that does the same thing too? Similar?
Ghost Rider does it to the life. When fielded, deal your opponent X damage, where X is equal to Ghost Rider's printed fielding cost. So it's not being fielded to Dark Phoenix. Think about playing Dark Phoenix in your field if your opponent was playing a breath weapon.
Yeah.
Breath weapon is ability damage from a character.
Yep.
So let's say you've got a breath weapon 3. You attack, you do breath weapon 3 to Dark Phoenix. She does 3 immediately back to you in feedback. Then you attack. Dark Phoenix is still alive because you did the breath weapon. She blocks. You take that damage. Whatever your attacking value is. Right?
Yeah.
Of the dragon. Think about range damage. Right? Range from Venerable Dreadnought. Let's say you've got a Venerable Dreadnought in your field. Custodian of Knowledge, I think is the subtitle. He gives all your character dice range 1. You don't want to put any range on Dark Phoenix. She's just going to send it all right back to your life.
Yeah. No matter what damage you do to her, she's sending it back.
She's very clearly the best one.
Yes. And I would say the second best would be her uncommon.
You think so?
Yeah, because even though when field you get to KO a character die, but to deal your 4 damage to your opponent, it's got to be an X-Men. And what's the chances of your opponent having an X-Men character? Unless you're playing like an X-Men team, then you're lucky enough. But I think that's a low chance.
But you could put Dark Phoenix on your team with an X-Man. It's not an opposing X-Man.
That's true.
When fielded, KO target character die. If it's an X character die, deal your opponent 4 damage. So you put Dark Phoenix on your team with a cheap X-Men character. If you're thinking about draft, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like if you look at, let's just look at, let me just go here. Let's go just to Dark Phoenix Saga. Let's choose the affiliation of X-Men.
Maybe there's one that's like 1 KO that does ability too. That might help.
I'm sure that there are. So X-Men right here. So we've got a 2-cost shield, Angel. Doesn't matter what he does. He's a 2-cost. You throw him in your field. You KO him when you field Dark Phoenix and your opponent takes 4 damage. Doesn't matter what he does, right?
That's true.
I'm just taking a look here to see if there's a when KO'd or anything like that. I don't see anything super easily accessible here. But I will tell you this: there are 77 X-Men affiliated cards in this set, so it should be pretty easy for you to put Dark Phoenix and an X-Men on the same team.
That's right, because it's insane opposing.
Yeah,
and her cards are quite good.
And if we look at 2 costs, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. There are 11 2-cost X-Men in the set, and the vast majority of those are commons and uncommons, with only 2 of them being rares. So that would be a really easy thing to do if you get that in a draft, right? Common Dark Phoenix, common cheap X-Man, field her, KO it, 4 damage to your opponent. Crazy.
Very
crazy. I know she's a 7 cost, but again, a couple of bolts. And if you look at this, like Jubilee, Rebellious Nature, and Things Never Change, those are the common and uncommon. They're both 2-cost bolts. So you could even use those bolts to pay for her global if they didn't roll on that character.
Yeah. And even if it's Jubilee that's when fielded, do your thing with Jubilee and then KO her. Because you're when fielded, so you want her to come back around, not stick on the field.
Oh, that's a different Jubilee. I'm looking at the Jubilee inset. Right, not the Jubilee we just talked about with the when fielded deal 2 damage.
Well, when fielded, that's an X-Men will help you. You just need to KO them and boom, they're coming right back next turn.
Yeah, here's one. 3-cost bolt, Forge, more than firepower. When fielded, if you spent bolt energy to field Forge, prep a die from your bag. So you field it, you spend a bolt to field him, you KO him with a bolt, you prep a die. Right? Your favorite character, Kim, Gambit. When fielded, you may draw and roll a die. On a burst face, instead draw 2 dice, roll 1, and return the other to your bag.
Oh, Gambit.
Yeah. Magic, when fielded, the next action die you purchase costs 1 less. So, Rogue.
There's a few.
When fielded, send target action die from the field zone to your opponent's use file. So, there's things there. There's when fielded effects that would make sense. And again, a lot of these are commons and uncommons. So it's a really good synergy in set. And I think it makes sense too if you think about, what happened in the storyline that we talked about, right? So she was Phoenix. She was affiliated with the X-Men, right? She was Jean Grey. And even though she was a villain, she was still trying to protect the X-Men in some ways. Right? So you KO an X-Men and there you go. You're coming back at you. We're retaliating.
Yeah, she's got some good cards. The good thing about her, though, too, is that her icon never changed and her stats never changed across all the sets. So there you go. If you need a proxy die,
Yeah. So I think the common is really strong. I think the rare is super, super strong, particularly in a constructed game. But I think in a draft format, the Dark Phoenix common card is going to be quite popular.
Yeah. Interesting to see what people play.
Yeah. And I think again in draft, the uncommon will also be pretty strong because there's going to be Shi'ar and there's going to be X-Men around in the draft. So
Yeah.
if we look at the Shi'ar affiliation, there's 14 cards, not 14 characters, but 14 cards with the Shi'ar affiliation in the set. And as we mentioned already, there were 77 with the X-Men. So, that's almost 100 cards. Is that 91? 91 cards in set that have those 2 affiliations, and she can KO one.
Yeah.
And then when she attacks, she does your opponent 2 damage, and then she just hangs out because her stats are good. And then she does it again, unless your opponent takes the life and lets her through.
Yeah,
So,
especially if she's on her high. You really want to take 8? Who knows?
I mean, I've done it before.
Mm-hmm.
Life is a resource, Kim. So anyway, that is Dark Phoenix.
Yeah.
Right?
I like it. I like them.
Yeah. So although the story itself was not the most positive story and didn't have the greatest ending from a positivity point of view, I think it is important that it was a story in comics that really highlighted a female character, and she had a really important part to play because she was the key person. So there you go. And we've got some really cool cards with her that highlight the story, feedback, and lots of interesting builds coming.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yep.
Looking forward to that.
Jimmy recently posted on Facebook some clarifications on some rules. So
he did.
Yeah. So if you hadn't taken a look, you can head over to the Facebook, and it's the Dice Masters Unlimited Facebook group, and he posted some rules clarification there.
Yeah, so there's currently a challenge with the win. They're having some trouble getting the rulings uploaded, so they provided them on Facebook for the main community core.
Mm-hmm.
So Dice Masters Unlimited has them, and they expect to get them in the win once the win gets fixed. So,
yeah.
Were any of those about Dark Phoenix, Kim?
No, but there was Moira.
Okay. Yeah. There was clarification on Moira, which we talked about Moira a few episodes ago, and I was pretty happy with how that Moira clarification turned out. So, but we will save that to talk about once everyone's had a chance to read the errata and has the set in hand and is ready to rock and roll.
Yeah.
Don't you think, Kim?
Indeed.
Okay, so we are skipping the dice bag this week because we covered all of our dice bag in episode 54, which you can head over and listen to on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/dmNorthTV. And I think we're going to jump right into Dice Social for March.
Yep. Dice Social will be happening on Saturday, March 19th at 2 p.m. Eastern. No details yet on a theme, but hey, maybe we should do Dark Phoenix.
Yeah, hopefully it'll be out. We're expecting it to arrive March 9th, right?
Yep.
So we might have the theme around that, providing it arrives, and if it doesn't, we'll have a backup theme.
Yeah. I hope so. Well, I know it's already been delayed, so I think it'll be downer if it gets delayed again, so we'll see.
Yeah, hopefully it'll arrive. I think they were just having some warehouse issues from what we understand, and looks like that's going to be all solved now. So, where are the other places you can play Dice Masters online right now, Kim?
You can play Tuesday nights on a weekly Dice Arena on dmNorthTV Twitch channel. I was going to say Switch. I don't know why I keep saying Switch. So that happens at 9 o'clock Eastern. And if you head over to our Discord, dmNorthTV Discord, or the Dice Masters Discord, you can review the themes there. And on Thursdays at 4 o'clock Eastern is Dice Fight. That's purely done through the Discord, so you can head over to the Dice Masters Discord and you can take a look at their themes there as well. And we usually will drop those Discord invites for you in the show notes.
Yeah, and then also there's Dueling Grounds.
Yep. I do not know when the next one is. I don't think David has posted it.
No, but no, I don't think he has yet, but he's working on it. He's been running some intermittent events. He's trying to find the right date and time that is not currently in play, but you can do that. He runs his events through the Win, so you can sign up on the Win. You can look for that. Dueling Grounds is in Peterborough, Ontario, if you're looking for that, and you can also find the Dueling Grounds channel on the Dice Masters online Discord. And finally, live events are starting to return, not just online events. So reach out to your local store organizer and find out where you are, wherever you are in the world. And there may be an opportunity for you to play Dice Masters in person as things start to ease as far as restrictions go. So for myself, I'm just going to put the plug out there for the Durham Region Dice Masters Durham Region Dice Masters Facebook group, where we're posting some local events in the Durham region in the Greater Toronto area. So if you're interested in that, you can join that Facebook group, and we'll continue to keep people updated. We've also added a live events channel into our dmNorthTV Discord, so that if there is live events happening, you can post them in the Discord there, and everyone can have access to what's coming up in person, IRL Dice Masters.
It still exists.
And it's going to resume, right? As things start to get better, and
Mhm.
hopefully we're coming to the other side of this, we'll be able to see each other in person again more often.
Yep.
So, is that all we have for today, Kim?
I believe that's it.
All right. So in that case, we would love to hear from you, whether that is for us to share on the podcast or just conversation and email and Discords, etc. So here's all the places that you can get a hold of us. You can find both Kim and myself on Discord through direct message at Super K for Kim and at JoceStitch, JOCE Stitch for me. You can find our Double and Dice podcast chat channel on our dmNorthTV Discord. And you can also find us on all the socials, including Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at dmNorthTV. You can send us an old-fashioned email at tripledpodcast@dm-north.com. You can head over to dm-north.com and put a comment on our episode post. And you can also find live gameplay and other videos, including our anniversary episode number 54, on our YouTube channel at youtube.com/dmNorthTV. And then twitch.tv/dmNorthTV, where the episode should be archived, and also where you'll find live gameplay, including the weekly Dice Arena. So until next time, on a Double and Dice.